So this is me, Mark Allen, a musician at the Old Hall Hotel in a village named Hope at the heart of England's Peak District. It's 5 a.m. I've traveled all the way from Nashville, and now I'm making sure this portable audio recorder works for the 8-hour drive and then 14-hour ferry ride to the Shetland Islands. This is my ride, and often home for the next 2 weeks.
6 hours, 15 minutes. It is.
It belongs to my friend Rick, pub owner, driver, and whiskey expert.
It's cold out here.
It's not. Summer's day.
And now we're headed to the northernmost regions of the UK in January. I've been exploring through music for a long time. Over years of playing, recording, and performing, I've discovered there's a language spoken between musicians that's unique. When having this musical conversation, you pay attention to each other. And it's about being present, an act of sharing. It's a communion you might not even understand until later. It becomes the soundtrack of your life. This is my passion. Traveling down this open road, just me and you and the Holy Ghost. I hear the call, we're getting close. Around the bend there's a signpost to places, faces, through the moon and its pages. This melody keeps us alive. Half guitar will travel, half guitar will travel. I have guitar will travel.
Funding for Have Guitar Will Travel World is provided by
Support for Have Guitar Will Travel World is provided in part by the following.
Old Hall, the anchor. I mean, you run it, the anchor, and
Yeah,
the
well,
Milton, Milton tap.
There's your Scotland. You're
Where?
welcome to Scotland sign.
Where?
That's it, the big one.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay, wait.
Everybody takes a picture of that
All
sign.
right, okay, I'm gonna get it in there. Wait a minute. Here we go. And we're in Scotland.
That's
That's
it.
amazing.
So there's your answer to the question. Gretna's left.
But if you think about it, I mean, what we're getting to do this time is go places neither of us have ever been. I haven't been, of course, but you haven't either.
Shetland.
It's Shetland Islands. I mean, that's...
the Shetland Isles. Yeah, you're not allowed to call it Shetland.
Yeah, no, you're not. You can't say Shetlands.
So Shetland Isles is big for music, and so
Yeah.
that's. I think this is the time. This is the best one for you to come to, definitely.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Where are the fiddles made? Shetland.
The Shetland fiddle. I mean, that's what they're famous for, besides the ponies and the wool and the sweaters. And
Yeah, Shetland ponies. Are they wild or
I think they're wild.
Oh, interesting. You got some
I
carrots.
think that was the whole thing. You know. Oh, look, more sheep. Hadn't seen enough sheep.
You're gonna see plenty more of those.
So we're in Scotland. This is exciting.
Yeah, it's just sheep.
Here, cheers. Cheers.
Hang on, all right.
Oh, yeah,
We've got to do it.
Yeah, here we
Safety
go.
first.
Cheers, Scotland. Cheers in Scotland.
8 hours traveling in a car is still 8 hours. What starts with a dose of excitement and caffeine soon becomes something else. Who knew that stopping for gas or a snack or a restroom break could become such a thrill? So needless to say, I had a lot of time to reflect on this 8-hour drive to catch our ferry in Aberdeen. You know, travel has a destination. You set out heading towards something, a place on a map, an experience in a book, an annoying selfie you send to all your friends. You go to take hold of a place, an experience, or an idea, and then you try to make it yours. Exploration, however, is giving yourself over to the journey, letting the place, the experience, or the idea define you. It was in these moments on our journey to the North Sea, to a latitude higher than I'd ever been, that I realized I was no longer merely traveling, but exploring. As you approach Aberdeen, one of the first things you notice is the gray. It's called Granite City for a reason. This stone built not only the gateway to the north, but also London's Trafalgar Square, Waterloo Bridge, and the Thames Embankment. Since the discovery of North Sea oil, Aberdeen has been the offshore oil capital of Europe and has the money and the waterfront to prove it. As we queued at the dock for our 14-hour ferry ride, we were greeted by the street art mural, Hold Fast Hope. It seemed made for us, given that our day literally began in hope. This Northlink ferry service is the ocean highway connecting the northernmost isles to the mainland, a lifeline for people, products, and livestock. While cargo is lashed to the deck below, the rest of us, lashed or not, are free to roam the upper deck cabins, restaurant, lounge, and bars. So, as we raise a toast to finishing the first leg of our musical journey to Scotland, we head out into the black night of the North Sea. And although I don't know what tomorrow will bring, well, I do know this: all the best days begin and end in hope.
Driving towards the bright spot in the sky. Hope sounds familiar.
We arrived in Shetland before dawn, after an overnight rolling journey on the North Sea. As we left the harbor, we searched for a spot just beyond to catch the first rays of the day.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. They're trying to eat my... Ow! Try to bite my pants. Yeah, there's nothing in there. We need some carrots. I don't got any pants. There's nothing in my pants.
Okay, I'll admit it. I talked to the ponies like I was greeting my friend's new puppy and thoroughly enjoying every bit of it until I got bit. Quite a jolt to an otherwise dreamlike, surreal sunrise. So in spite of my lack of carrots for the ponies, it certainly was hard to ignore the stark beauty of the early morning views. As we made the drive to our chalets in Scalloway, all these elements would combine to make me really curious about the musicians that I would be meeting with later that day and following. So as it started to rain on this late Sunday morning, we had some time to rest up, because later that evening, we were about to experience our first real Shetland session in Lurik's iconic lounge bar. So when we arrived at the lounge, I met three remarkable musicians: Louis Peterson on banjo, Callum Watt on fiddle, and Ryan Cooper on guitar. Three guys about to introduce me to music unlike anything I'd ever experienced before: the Shetland Sound.
Yeah, well, it's probably the most famous bar in Shetland for sessions.
I got so much more than I bargained for. An actual deep dive into how this remote location and its history came to form the exceptional music culture of these islands. It evolved from roots more Nordic than Celtic.
I suppose Shetland's history is, we were Scandinavian until maybe 550 years ago, and then there was a big trade, the Hanseatic trade, which was like Germany, Scandinavia, all these places. Sort of Shetland was at the heart of that geographically, so that's why a lot of our language and a lot of our culture was influenced by, not just Scandinavia and Scotland, but also, the Netherlands, Germany. So a violin probably came off one of those boats when it came here, and then that's what started it all. That's what started the tradition of the fiddle music here.
As my friend Rick and I discussed on the way up, as in Nashville, the violin here is called a fiddle, and no session is complete without at least one, sometimes many more.
Like a fiddle player would have been the heart and soul of the party, like hundreds of years ago. It was just one fiddle player would have played at seasonal parties and local.
So you always would have a gig.
I suppose so, yeah.
There wasn't many banjos playing.
The fiddle's popularity as portable entertainment for Shetland fishermen and whalers makes total sense. These were long journeys headed into the Arctic, where the only entertainment would have been whaling tunes written on often boring journeys between Shetland, Iceland, Greenland, and beyond.
We always have to be quite clear that there's not really a Gaelic tradition here at all. We burn boats.
And by boats, he means Viking boats, longboats or galleys that teams of Shetlanders called Jarl squads spend all year designing, constructing, painting, and then in torch-lit processions, burning.
Everything is very seasonal here. Like everything's, it's our Viking festival time of year. It's like January to March, and then it's like the folk festival time is spring. And then the summertime, it's all the kind of sea kind of regattas and the, agricultural shows and all of this. Music's at the heart of all of that stuff. It kind of goes hand in hand with all of it. I suppose it's almost come full circle now where the culture created the music, but now the music's maybe the thing that people are coming to Shetland for. They come to see the sessions and hear a bit of especially the fiddle music.
So how many instruments would be typically you'd see here?
Like there being 10 or a dozen fiddle players and a few other, guitars and somebody on the piano, maybe a couple of accordions.
You got like 12 fiddle players, you'd say?
Well, yeah, can be.
If it's certain times of year, like those kind of festival times and stuff, then it will just, sometimes this whole room will be musicians. You sometimes look at the bar and sometimes some of the best musicians haven't even gotten a seat. And indeed, they didn't have a seat. They were all still here, towering above us in the paintings that cover the walls. While Louis plays the banjo handed down by his dad, Ryan carries the honor of being one of the few to receive lessons from Peary Willie Johnson, one of Shetland's most famous musicians. Although Peary means small in the Shetland dialect, the self-taught master guitar legend was anything but that. He created a totally new sound on the Shetland guitar, like a bass and guitar playing together, a rhythm section in itself, by merging elements of syncopated swing and jazz to the Shetland style. Sounds he'd heard over radio waves from the US, reaching across the Atlantic in the 1930s and 40s. But the American influence here is huge. Because of the geography of Shetland and because we're in the middle of the Atlantic, then the American radio waves reached us more than a lot of the rest of the UK. Right. So in the 1930s, 40s, then we were getting all the kind of American radio stations here. So like jazz and Americana, Western swing, all that kind of influences. Shetlanders were exposed to that more than somebody in Glasgow or Edinburgh. People here are really into their country music more than your average person in the rest of Scotland. They're more into their kind of, their bluegrass.
That sound is like no other, and honestly, their rhythms left me more than a little challenged to keep up. And it was at this point that I felt how far I was from the honky-tonks on Broadway in Nashville.
People are quite modest here, though. I think if you ask somebody, do you play? They would be like, oh no, I don't. And then after a few drinks, they'd get the guitar and they're like, oh, you do play.
If I'd learned anything tonight, it was that here in Shetland, life is good, and there's always time to celebrate it. As the sun rose the next day, I was starting to feel that Shetland's soul is defined by its contrasts. Traits evident not just in Shetland's people, but also in its first lighthouse, here at Sunberg Head. This beacon has shone continuously for more than 200 years, with a fascinating history hidden behind its striking but modest exterior. Like how this perch is home to an Iron Age fortification dating back thousands of years, giving it its name Sunberg, meaning southern fortress, and that it overlooks Darust, the name in Old Norse for where the North Sea and Atlantic currents merge, in a constant and thunderous churn. How the lighthouse itself was designed by the grandfather of author Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde. It also changed the outcome of World War II in 1940 with a critical 25-minute warning, saving the British naval fleet from being destroyed in a German aerial bomber attack. So it was fitting that my next musical conversation would take place just a few miles north with another Shetland bright light and beacon, the singer-songwriter Frida Leask. She carries the torch as one of Shetland's most revered storytellers, singing in both English and the Shetland dialect. And we were invited over for lunch at her seaside perch, one that's no less dramatic than Sunberg Head. I was both hungry and eager to hear the songs and stories of life growing up on these remote islands. Well, thanks for having me in, and I really appreciate it.
You're
today.
very
It was really
welcome.
great. And all this food.
Yeah, my mum has been busy this morning.
Yeah.
I said there was 5 people coming, so she says, well, she's made 24.
Wow.
So I don't think we're going to manage that.
No.
And we made the soup, Shetland soup. It's tatty soup, as we call it. Just made with roots. It's available this time of year. There's carrots, turnips, and potatoes.
What is this?
This is mutton.
Oh, okay.
So it's and we
Can I
made
try
the soup
that?
on that. You can try it. This time of year, you get roasted mutton, we would say, but this is fresh.
Like Frida, this mutton came from Yell, one of the northernmost Shetland islands.
You like a plate of soup?
Yeah, please.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah. So I use this.
Yeah.
It's called a spoon. How early did you start playing music? Maybe is it
You were encouraged from a young age. I was singing when I was, as long as I can remember. Maybe my first performance might have been 5, and it was with my mum.
Okay.
So it was just in the local hall.
Right.
But you'd rehearse, and it was so popular at that time. We had lots of people that maybe would have travelling concerts that would arrive, and you would be part of the travelling concert.
These public halls are the heart of Shetland communities. They're where people gather for everything, from weddings to funerals, fundraising to festivals, committee meetings and concerts.
So I think that's where I made my early musical connections in Shetland. You got to know everybody that was involved, and you had really good guitarists playing for you from a very early age.
Frida has been a prolific songwriter most of her adult life, drawn to writing songs, both in English and the Shetland dialect, about her experiences growing up on these
I
islands.
started taking interest in songwriting once I started to play a bit more.
Right.
So it sort of evolved. Yeah. So I think a lot of our songs, even if they're written in English, you're a lot of imagery in the song. A lot of the words we use that were certainly influenced by what's around us. Sea and the sounds and the wind. And you know,
Which I think I'm hearing right now.
Probably, yeah, it's quite windy outside.
I thought that was a bird. I'd love to hear some of your music.
Okay.
Could you play a few for me?
I can do.
Oh, take my dream beyond the night, where silent echoes harmonize, and voices on the wind can rise and hear your ghost notes play. Play your ghost notes well.
I've heard those today.
Have you?
And by also writing in the Shetland dialect, Frida keeps the voice and history of a culture alive.
Yeah, I've always known from an early age some of the older Shetland dialect songs. It's such a rich language, and there's words that you use that you just can't even translate.
And as we sail away, we're marking for him, back way beyond to where we belong.
It's beautiful. So the chorus, what were you singing in the
And
chorus?
as we sail away, we're marking for him.
For him?
As we sail away, we're heading for home.
Okay.
Marking for him. Normally when you go on a boat, you're travelling somewhere.
Sure.
But for this, when you get on a boat, you're
coming home. What would you say would be an impression you would want to leave in somebody's mind to learn about the Shetland Islands and the people that live here.
I think if you look at the mileage, the miles around us, we surround it with people that can play. I mean, I can point to different neighbours around here that
you could put a band together in a second. Like, there, my fiddle player lives down here. The bass player lives over there. No, that's pretty amazing.
And we've been really fortunate, and I think that's something that people should grasp. I think we're a very small population in the islands in the middle of the North Sea, 100 miles north, but we have a lot to offer.
As I left Frida's with a full belly and soul, it dawned on me that I certainly was living the dream. And Shetland was proving to be more of a dreamscape than I could have ever imagined. A place where the landscape and its lore are vibrantly alive, and its coat of arms is a Viking boat, surrounded by a Shetland pony, dolphins, and a unicorn. The only thing missing on this crest is the fiddle, and having landed on these shores a few hundred years ago, it's been the life of the party ever since. Keeping that party alive is violin maker Ewan Thompson, a master craftsman turning timber into, well, tunes. And when the National Museum of Scotland wanted a Scottish fiddle for their collection, they commissioned one from Ewan. He comes from a long line of woodworkers, and he's also a musician in the band Hultadance. So following the breadcrumbs in this fairy tale led us back to the harbor in Lerwick to visit Shetland's ultimate public gathering space and creative arts center, Mariel. And meeting me there was Lynn Anderson, fiddler and vocalist in the remarkable four-piece harmony group Herkja, the Norwegian word for wander. And I would soon discover that Shetland's magic wand is truly the fiddle and bow, enchanting these islanders for generations. It's really cool to be here.
Yeah.
So have you performed here a lot?
Yes. In fact, it was, I think, our second ever gig with the band was in here at Hogmanay New Year's.
Oh, so that's amazing.
It's brilliant fun.
A lot of the festivals, they take place here too, right?
Well, yeah, the folk festival, Shetland Folk Festival, use this venue as a venue throughout the whole weekend. They use this as the foy weekend. Like on the Sunday, they have the foy where they have 4 venues operating at the same time, and the bands do a kind of route around Lerwick.
Oh, wow, cool.
So they do a wee stint on each one, and this is one of the most popular ones. It sells out straight away. You can never get tickets.
Perched at the harbor's edge, Mariel, which means phosphorescence in dialect, is another Shetland beacon in its own right. When did you start playing? Did you sing first and then fiddle?
No, I didn't know I could sing till I was about 17, so-ish. I started playing the fiddle, I was 5 years old, so it's a wee while ago. I've probably played fiddle for about 29 years now.
Oh, wow.
And it was my grandfather, my granddad. He handed me my first fiddle. He made fiddles.
In a land where the fiddle takes center stage, it comes as no surprise that everyone either knows a luthier or is related to one. If you could describe the Shetland style of music, I mean, it's obviously based around the fiddle, how would you define that?
Oh, that's a tricky question, because the sort of traditional Shetland style would be a single fiddle. A single fiddle is what you had. You didn't have a full dance band. You didn't have the luxury of that.
Sure.
So that one fiddler was the wedding. He'd play the march for the bridal march, leaving the church. He would play the dance at the evening. And it's one fiddle. So the style of music was to be enough to push the dance in. You had to do the dance, the whole dance. Because if you're in a room on your own, where there's no PA, this is, years and years and years and years ago, you have to be heard. You have to be heard. So that was the elements that they used to be heard.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at that, that is your Shetland style, is a single fiddle.
Now you are no more than paper bones clouding at the wind.
And that style is brought into the present by young artists like Lynn and Herkja.
We're still taking the traditional element, but we are using, say, the accompanying, like the guitar, the piano, etc. We're using that element to modernize it. We're not changing the tune.
So that makes it fresh.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You want to keep that traditional element. The tradition and Shetland traditional music is important. It's like we will never lose that, but every family, nearly, if you're like a right Shetland family, has got that element. It is passed down from generation to generation. And if I have children, I'll pass it on to them.
Yeah.
They might not want to play, but they'll grow up with it.
Yeah.
And you never ever lose that. And that's how we won't lose the Shetland and traditional aspects of Shetland music.
Music has always been my lighthouse and was certainly the beacon that drew me to this remote place. Here on Shetland, this blend of currents and cultures makes a musician dream, or rather, Shetland is a dream that makes musicians. And now, my guitar and I set out in search of the next bright light on the horizon, letting the musical conversation be our guide.
Funding provided by
Support for Have Guitar Will Travel World is provided in part by the following.